International Association for the Study of Traditional Environments, IAST. Indigenous Urbanization and Amazonia's Post-Traditional Environmental Economy. Author, S. Daniela M. Peluso and Miguel N. Alexiades. Source, Traditional Dwellings and Settlements Review, Volume 16, Number 2, Spring 2005, pages 7 to 16. Published by International Association for the Study of Traditional Environments, IAST. Stable URL, http://www.jstore.org/stable/417477743. Accessed, 13-12-2015-1921 UTC. References. Linked references are available on JSTOR for this article, http://www.jstore.org/stable 417477743. SEC = 1 and CID = PDF. Reference number. References _tab _contents. You may need to log into JSTOR to access the linked references. Your use of the JSTOR archive indicates your acceptance of the terms and conditions of use. Available at http://www.jstore.org/pageinfo/about/policies/terms.jsp. JSTOR is a not-for-profit service that helps scholars, researchers, and students discover, use, and build upon a wide range of content in a trusted digital archive. We use information technology and tools to increase productivity and facilitate new forms of scholarship. For more information about JSTOR, please contact support@jstore.org. International Association for the Study of Traditional Environments, IAST, is collaborating with JSTOR to digitize, preserve, and extend access to traditional dwellings and settlements. Review. http://www.jstore.org. This content downloaded from 141.217.20.120 on Sun, December 13, 2015, 19 hours 21 minutes and 32 seconds UTC. All use subject to JSTOR terms and conditions. TDSR Volume 16 Number I 205. 7. Indigenous Post-Traditional Urbanization and Amazonia's Economy. Environmental. Daniela M. Peluso and Miguel N. Alexiades. This article examines makings post-traditional of environments of processes through urban the Amazonian in border ethnogenesis among Saja, an indigenous group living the areas Peru-Bolivia. Argue the of tradition of and we that use as social currency by environmental service. International ecotourism has sector, particularly thriving the industry, exacerbated of an alienation of dislocation, social ecological processes. Urbanization, we how is reinvented dispeoples. Examine an Saja past selectively indigenous through course appropriated and this and by participatory and development. Unearthing projects reburial history then of is used to authenticate present its environmental in the an agenda a post-global of environmental righteousness. World Moral. Daniela Peluso Research M is associate in the Amazonian about in Department of Anthropology. The Saja area lowland group comprising 1,500 people, living Sev Kent. Has working communities there Ivers Errol Madre Dios Heath Tambo Pata, the Da and in Beni, University Shibin of along with Saja since mid-1980s border the on of and Bolivia, Madre Dios Peru, figures 1,2, the Saja land regions Pando, 3. To itself of Panoan of questions to gender, perolating kinship, gauge belongs Theta Cana family, part the macrolanguage group Sunhood identity. And of Amazonia. Most Saja plant swidden fields, hunt, and fish. Languages Western NISA fellow extract forest both consumption commercial and trade. Madre Dios the de resources. For Miguel Alexiades Nuffield of Kent Workondon is home to 18 different university currently third of largest least populated department Peru, itself on SA ethnic and families. Department also significant the has particularly in the landscape. Groups 7 linguistic impernotions tense global conservation. A biodiversity as within 3 million history, indigenous of territoriality, for hotspot, more, and environment. The hectares aside for set itis conservation and conservation, heavily targeted external by funds community development and projects. Point 1 The on this is the popular of as is paper which articlebest conception Amazonia a place inhabited forest by peoples out. Wascosan co recipient as a fiasts ed most live in environments. The people today in urban peri-urban throughout 20 cookth century, Amazonians moved have between urban rural and areas in response to 2004 Jeffrey Award. This content downloaded from 141.217.20.120 on Sun, December 13, 2015, 19 hours 21 minutes and 32 seconds UTC. All use subject to JSTOR terms and conditions. 8. TDSR 16.2. Figure, above I left, de River Madre Dios, Peru. Photo M. Alexiades. By figure, above 2. Right, Heath Photo M. River. By Alexiades. Figure 3. Right, Esaja in Madre Communities de Dios and, Peru, Benipando Bolivia. Drawing Gothers. By In Demand Forest for Fluctuations. The International Products. In trend thelong, inexorable toward however, recent years in new urbanization Amazonia involved increasing has in the Esaja of Peru Acacian Arbarif indigenous peoples. A highly mobile the society, Esaja have point. Traditionally become as a result the of sedentary, increasingly largely and that have resulted from broader social political changes of interregion. Point 2 The penetration on market economy half of urbanization. The first oft process began during of 20th the century following establishment a Dominican mission numerous and small and outposts rural settlements forest where resources were extracted agri and cultural commodities under conditions det of peon grown. In half age. It ways extended facilitated the second oft 20th the official creation native of century through with communities titled and of lands, through provision such state services schools health as and posts. Throughout the 20th most to century, Esaja embraced albeit extense notions progress modernity. Of and this varying in turn entailed need and desire developed the to more intense links with market, national the and concomitant society, the of Maldonado Lee. Regional capital Puerto, Fig. Point 4. Urban of model settlement dwelling been adopted and have in Esaja communities, migration while an incorporated relocation the town to itself also increased. 5. Key has, figure factors to these forms urbanization been of have contributing. This content downloaded from 141.217.20.120 on Sun, December 13, 2015, 19 hours 21 minutes and 32 seconds UTC. All use subject to JSTOR terms and conditions. Paluzzo and Alexiades, Post Raditional Amazonia 9T. In Amazonia focused identity the context social has on of an environmental scant attention been paid to has change, urbanization. Urbanized have similarly peoples indigenous been neglected indigenous and the other by organizations with communities. Working rural organizations indigenous in this article explore notion thinveran meanwida that tail economy, such as ecotourism, con through interventions, and conservation, sustainable development advances projects, into the integration of indigenous peoples the market economy and exacerbates related the of many process urbanization. Of these interventions directly either or discourage indirectly resource utilization activities undermine long-standing many, including certain forms gathering, of and hunting, fishing, and dense continue disengage to switten fallow agriculture from land. In addition, labor, their dispeople physical wage new of and secularization, patterns consumption, placement, photo M. Alexiades. Maldonado figure 4. Puerto by Peru. The commercialization all off culture further detach Esaja the of kin relations that from matrix extended and ecological the until sustained them. This process social ecuf and recently on communications increased independency improved into is alienation incorporation the market logical following in that and including goods services are provided thesity, not at historical trademarks indeed, is oft clearly novel, most urbanized main essay education. Today, secondary of capitalism. What truly is and this focuses novel, what article of is obtain with ties their community origin, Part a diversiof and on is how processes market integration social eco to that them the forest fied subsistence through strategy links now under of alienation unfold, ironically, thea aegis and service-related logical extractivism, more recently, agriculture, conservation and moreover, urbanization, physical social and conservation ecotourism activities, projects. Notably and draw simultaneously upon uprooting, commoditization urbanization this contemporary of indigenous phase and create idealized, and reified essentialized, and nostalgic service with of coincides the emergence and environmental of and tradition, locality, image itsmer or wilderness, in conservation development and economy which agendas social ecological and embeddedness certain forms represent power and privileges converge, which in using term that to describe ija sa post-traditional at end. Shins indigenous of knowledge, organization control. That native we communities, are not suggesting traditions in with further coincides development cc ija ethnogenesis have disappeared, rather there but that roles forms, and, the construction a collective of social ethnic identity in are different those the past. From meanings fundamentally in their realized mediated and through participation part the term is reminiscent Hobsbawm of and post-traditionality and local, pan-Amazonian national international emergent hallmark notion the invention tradition, of rangers since particularly the 1980s.3 indigenous organizations, with behavior meant convey continuity asidto or repeated work while much anthropological about indigenous distant whereas neo-tradiable sometimes fictitious, past. 4 innovational. Communities engage the manufacture culture communities and tradition, post-traditional selectively the to mimetically reproduce oft he past in order make parts like as has these present appear the past. 5 Apadere noted, discourses about poster governed norms 6 the here. By and we argue the discourse that about age past, common immunities involved in ecotourism is economy to a great tourist extent dictated the international market the by, or to of this contributes the marketing that market. Market social of even as production memory, though, house child not have as warned, all participants an equal standing. 7 Economic a market-based interests, such, through calculated role of system rewards, a dominant in the social play production post-traditional oft he past. Of visions in this article look at the contemporary preliminary and within a jacom that sa nary phase of urbanization unfolds photo m lower river figure 5. SA Community Heath, Peru. By Ajawi How of Immunities. Specifically examine notions self-alexiades. This content downloaded from 141.217.20.120 on Sun, December 13, 2015, 19 hours 21 minutes and 32 seconds UTC. All use subject to JSTOR terms and conditions. 10 TDSR 16.2 Rich relations, territory, community, place including gender and NUAL health language and form, are informed the by, and environmental and agenda thetensions contradictions this in turn that is a consequence. Problematize emerge on between and often links identity place, resting simple or ideas of spatially bounded cultures, localities, territories. Live in or were born for example, ija from in. Sa portashwalo matadikoanaji, they are but refer mostly to themselves referred bsa ija afoder and to community asas kia ikoanaji from begriver. The they, people meaning Beni River. These distinctions not also, may geographical reflect actual location. Instance, for a always geographical eye of Timor Kuanaj who migrated Portashwalo group Sonin then refer themselves referred to and 30 ago still years to be others Sonin Kuanaji. As Sajar Firancito place Saja identity thus has been fluid dynamic and always in its relationship place. The notion Saja as a collecto to of notions self-relation play seri central how of into an Amazonia. Avail the tiv is conditioned is the emerging entity also historically identity constructed indigenous of notion a pan-off Amazonian movement Idenshand records the able historical support Saja notions their indigenous tribu mentioned earlier. Native communities like notion as encompassing adjacent 3 traditional 2, the Thai territory of tribe, politico-historical specifically, are the Taris the Madre Dios and Beni Ivers, Tambo Pata of the artifacts, they of with of and heath, Sonin, the headwaters the Medidi the products contact the state broad and political, legal, Bawaja, in and economic as of rivers converge all in loca the systems. 9 Such, in terms there, Manini. Headwaters these on an area sa small vary in Andes, Shan, physical makeup, internal fairly rugged in the Eastern organization. Ija communities reflect history increasingly of and from each intense yet Theba writer Peru Bolivia, flow of and away, relations thestate maram bivalent with de and other joint he madre dios, nan beni, kiai, to consistently ai, centuket, related of the rivers ig.6, refer to figure 3. During 20th dislocation, processes migration, f including fragin in on and the mentation, sedentization, dependency outside goods re-saja have gradually migrated and settled the in and as internal differentiation lower reaches the Tambopata heath of services, increased rivers, well as while toward mobilita Elion Thebanion Madradios. As the saja moved away historically disposed lifestyle, from each men's saja social structure, as kinship, also of such are from headwaters, Haviel so moved they away with much rooted place, in over some residence. When other, very notably dispersed a wide area, through becoming saja Mary, couple of the 10th dwelta with womans the muni ties far as apart 400 kilometers thede sendence each of as Madadai Sonin, and consist these 3 households, therefore, family speak, Uxora locality. Usually, Bawaja, groups of Ofa married all unmarried and Dawsons in a different dialects, Arathemselves mixture couple, off their slightly once fought tours, they're married, and as from different tributaries, of which many daughters son-in-laws well as people maternal in the Hotu day and children or traded each other this with way, people grandparents, grandchildren adopted link in the and of as for themselves Bawaja Quinaji, example, by rooting household its systems production identify of as. The continuative family of residential there to clusters, Uxora locality ancestry such tributarious Tambopata tends undermine social and political to and aside the of Coishoki Torre, now, Malinowski, point 8 from significance, law to and of 3 main groupings, tend refer each these patrilineality. Consequently, as in much lowland people to south residents rather descent theki than is cried other more America, community they specifically according which Ryan Sage is social for organization. 10 Ecotourism in place ecotourism been heralded its defenders and has as by effective off providing economic incentives the conserver way Vashan forests 11 of a subset such of ventures involves directly local dwellers, by including in some activity either them ties them employers promoted an ecotourism hiring. By lodge, in some cases, formal and EES or, establishing partnerships of, Fig. 7. 2 Thesija communities working agreements in Peru have formal with developed partnerships national and tourist cases with directive operators both support international environmental and DIFE organizations donors. 12 Despite fearances Thede tales how partnerships been set in of have SAR with entitled the lands the of up both ajalages built both seek directly to involve SAJ in the communities. Reaches Heath Photo M. Alexiades. The river. By Figure 6. Upper of. This content downloaded from 141.217.20.120 on Sun, December 13, 2015, 19 hours 21 minutes and 32 seconds UTC. All use subject to JSTOR terms and conditions. T. Paluzzo and Alexiades, Post Raditional Amazonia 11. To licks areas where number animals of congregate large of and its feed. For extraordinary diversity flora fauna. 15 Thelages provide also visitors a social with experience, or which include visits the comunidad certain to may walks or community projects, with indigenous guides, purchasing local handicrafts. IDEOF community operated the lodges conservation realize broader social helping goals notably a element and sustainable developmental so forms distinct for one off the institutional off-tees branding lodges, instance. Off-teelages received Conservational International NARS several others. Ecotourism Excellence Award, among a while national and thestate the park provide guarantee of ecological oft-heria, partnership the authenticity with indigenous and a community provides complementary and thelages advarare of ethnic moral authenticity, degree for as follows, only ours river, for Figure 7. Tourism Rarenabaki Photo di Paluzzo. Teist, example. By agency, Bolivia. By center from Puerto Maldonado Heath River Wildlife Airport, is the gateway the largest to uninhabited unhunted and renan. And forest the Amazon. Hundreds birds mammal of the lodges, both in and to lesser extent, running staffing, and owned the Saja in or owned the community question. Point 13 species a LODGE 100% area thereby by partly fully of make heath best combination the of members been actively Indian sonin have in own oft community lodges, in Amazon 16 nature culture theme tire and been sent Lima, capital to the trained guides, have as for indigenous to and to skills to or Peru study people's work, eventually own. Managerial, figure 8. English specialist there must ecotourism Thesija is closely andrun ecotourism as in other areas, they lodges, reorganize among means of livelihood, putting often subsistence of and linked and dependent the creation management to on agriculture, in and forest national case Tambopata natural areas, hunting, foraging, extractive activities the back protected in these the in the form work boatdrias of national itself of reserve the bawaja sonin and labor, park, usually ground. Wage part waiters cleaners, or takes them off their autos tablisha and international conservation ver, guides, strategy seeking in them thespacio of tillage, into flanks the Andes. Point 14 household moves of areas corridor protected on Theastern where axes separated there from families thesicial and in ecotourism ventures westerness with other they indigenous and that bind them there to household distinct and seek promote to Amazonia. Obligations normally ecological lodges thereof with end. Attractions in order allure to visitors compete social community. For a variety reasons, of women Uxora locality, including, F biodiversity operation sig. Point 9. A global neighboring men. As a result, women find tide and for theories widely known its pristine atches are more top place than hotspot. A double on themselves and bird mammal and cibal environments load taking the additional lakes, jobs doing clay, forests. With on Thija River photo figure 9. Website information essay lodge and figure 8. Essay guides tourists, Tambopata, Peru. Ija M. Alexiades. http://www.greentracks.com/tambopata_programs.htm. By. This content downloaded from 141.217.20.120 on Sun, December 13, 2015, 19 hours 21 minutes and 32 seconds UTC. All use subject to JSTOR terms and conditions. 12 TDSR 16.2. To for that their husbands' sons left and behind Gaurk the intern, haveless control thuage that is over they lodge. And meant compensate such sacrifices. Saj a woman to for about relationship her husband was her with who spoken Saj a lodge the time, at administering. Occasional off-forest sale and basic products gamito purchase the distinction by the state made between subsistence goods, and commercial absurd. As own exasperated is hunter do I sell gamito become rich. No. Where still plained, we to books archil for poor. And hunt by soap tobui. Dren. They Arathiones wo showed white people is here. Cannot me he are us how tis these commodities as such husband no likewise, my help with 6 things. Yes but here children. He makes, and our oil, soap, money, heist not taco shotguns, cooking sugar schoolbooks and the or viewed the Saja as integral historically and constituted carry by firewood, plantains, keep fields hunt the ones fish, my little do and sisters me of lives. The fact shotguns been that have help with parts their daily fish. To give used Bethsaja for that meat but continues sometimes I have my generations, hunting nothing them. It to have unparalleled husband bought a gas stove, look there. Has us but over and social. Symbolic economic import in months. Ice expensive tor fill. And SA areas before has been tense, that aja have hunted these many empty for he here. There were white all to the his working but is not any people serve _view SA with and many aja that among hunting shotguns selling in and another impact thebom the environmental game constitute inalienable clear of right. Loss the a growing number SA aja particular of service has economy been language among sonin significantly. In most are bilingual, Sa is a Sarasigia. While Spanish clearly lithos working wage laborers the environmental now ten vice economy with much more contact the rhetoric of frequently than years and spoken ago, greater factors consum leaders have assimilated the children only are conservation, many including marginally bilingual. Include a view hunting a negative, indeed of as or shameful to recent of erosion activity. Process linguistic tributing this in nationals about to dramatic increase then Peruvian of SA visiting Onofus once asked young Aja tourist guide, if in avon to or living the community direct as result interventions depart his regular leave, he was planning go hunting. 3 He smiled and linked the to national or the tourist said, wedo not do those shyly, looking away, park lodge. Indeed, out of now of here households, OFA total 17. Consist mixed things any more workers. A young is another who between a John Lodge SA time, biologist had been hired and by marriages when we to NGO make a series educational ofanimals of cards based man remarked, laughing, Ari embarrassed talk we on SA accounts, recalled decision then go to us. Non by the SA air with and no inner house do in remove reference the cards hunting. To not because him his talk of non-SA brother-in-law. Any redefining traditions conservation, is in my much conservation, certainly of an ecotourism, view calto hunting, conservation many biologists the practice with efforts. As fundamentally incompatible their preservation that they charismatic this is particularly case for larger megafauna and which used toroli are, tapirs, peccaries monkeys, for and are in public official support conservation. Which also the out and hunters. 17 by sought both tourists indigenous in is issueo funding indigenous peoples national parks by not those a living SA around often contentious, least among much thereof the protected now covering areas traditionally the lands. While national occupied legislation recognizes right enough indigenous to areas, provision peoples hunt protected this to meet used for domestic and is restricted consumption, to an instances is the of traditional which many use means. That what to boanderos. Suggestion only the taken mean are means subsistence hunting of an arene effect pre-colonial of as with compatible tradition suggests view culture with bounded static, and which hard reconcile the is to off social and processes. Dynamism open-endedness on Fort Hesaja whose till depend a traditional and based lifestyle on hunting gathering, house the I was a disappointed I soth when I had place cards. Collected fabulously such detailed entertaining and stones about various animals ja children adults. And from when NGO administrator them immediately the she read said they not used that could be because referred to they had described different the hunting. People passionately animals taste where nest hide. Or ways they in this instance illustrates traditional how is knowledge it edited back strategically before is channeled to the commuave as and revitalization 90 part conservation cultural prowhos in tradition ways that jex, goalies tor invent considered or downplay aspects aesthetically, morally politier with sustainable undesirable, incompatible modern Cali in land use culture appropriated is and planning. This way, to the interests the state of repackaged legitimize convergent and ecotourist firms. Creation the illusion pristine of forests inhabited traditional authentic or by po indigenous to the discourse, Aja please, fig.io. According this akin tone ecological noble used to live in harmony savage with environment, have subsequently and through the but, succumbed the perverse influences modernity of two evils environmental of which degradation, presumably the includes use off shotguns provide to one's dinner. 18 Is it? This content downloaded from 141.217.20.120 on Sun, December 13, 2015, 19 hours 21 minutes and 32 seconds UTC. All use subject to JSTOR terms and conditions. Paluzzo and Alexiades, POST Raditional Amazonia 13T associated gaming hunting including with traditionally moral spiritual, into simple and one's a material aesthetic. Choice. Extolling accomplishments project the OFA link to Theaterista Kellogg Fellow noted how the Indon Lodge, from another chicken jeered harpy eglerosian status just Tuthir mascot 19 that before the community suggesting arrival Thelodge sa javiewed harpy of the Eagles another chicken ironic only is not because aja. Do sa just no diatherpy but this a eagles. Because animal plays salient role in Aja oral traditions is a powerful and ref symbolic errant the suprahuman to adosikiana to theontological, and that the predation underscores intimate interrelationship between human non-human and yet beings. 20 Saja beliefs about non-human. Also the beings emphasize regenerative, creative healing and of such aspects activities as hunting, which otherwise are as interpreted strictly hunter-prey, preda-figure io. Community environmental poster, river. Education Heath models. 21 Chin consumption reciprocity photo M. Alexiades. By Inhers Tudi the relationship of between Saja Komen and own tourist Stranza has munity it's partly lodge, observed apparent in the of paradox, despite importance no coincidence technology thought and discussed that is of an otters conserva harpy eagles giant among biologists, in terms traditional non-traditional, than of versus rather and neither held special economicianists, tourists, species versus colonial. These reference p-frame pre-colonial to, tourism 22 in significance people at least not before in of than pliscoises terms a nostalgic rather own of past actual were fact, harpy eagle feathers themist highly prized and this of subjugation, exploitation resistance. Rewriting O. Falbert and used in the manufacture of feathers, whereas the history is selfing of authenticating present way arrows themselves the indispensable technology. Large with environmental an agenda. Size oft he feathers makes them ideal for the manufacturing the demonization hunting, a zeal that a cob with on arrows which ensures stability the infletching, in turn Zion acquires distincta also the fervor, subverts missionary of with accuracy theros path. This, flight coupled the social and of that legitimacy prestige the activity, suggesting it attributes derived from fact harpy that powerful symbolic constitutes outdated and of modality environmental intimacy are and in which be transcended the transformation eagles the largest most powerful predator, flying sotme by that did have an important economic gests the bird indeed from hunter tourist to an of guide. The prestige the hunter, value for Saja before advent tourism. The of Stranzas this new environmental is not post-traditional economy built account only not conceals economic off harpy the value on the ability utilize skills knowledge provide to his and to his as of for but eagles a source materials hunting technology, it's with to household game, rather reinvent recreate and but, allusion the indeterminate to of symbolic significance harpy those skills knowledge, and them combining with English to also the eagles Saja hunters disassembles symbolic. And marketing order interpret forest provide into the in and from economic, subverting Andre inventing the thus in turn allows authentic to this also experience visitors. Saja traditional notions value. 23 Defining Ekuftha by him to bring not back his wife children. To encash, game, nomic in this of Cree terms, kind rhetoric exclusively market this powerful of interplay the demonization the hunt atus the object its sound discourse. Commodification of the of and the commodification hunted illustrated the in oft is and relations the primacy the market and of ecological social of oft reprimands the presentative ecotourist company as measure value of a with members. This enduring meeting community a capybara been shot, violation the terms had in of instance, in oath agreement the vicinity the tourist of lodge, urbanization, lodged in one's mind who killed capybara. Don't know that you ida stealing? That was worth ended capybara money to everyon. By, the, one belonged killing capybara person stolen everybody if I the has else. Kill animals, from what the will tourists to z come. Is undermined providing competa by hunting notenly ideo value, also be collapsing different but the values ing urbanization with ideas and images. New whose begins lies to new of power and their ability evoke kinds desire not but for and desires, theed sire different just material lifestyles different aside from and of identities. Affecting changes modes and of urbanization production forms social organization, its sense value brings own particular of aesthetics, and morals. Have already we discussed international how echo. This content downloaded from 141.217.20.120 on Sun, December 13, 2015, 19 hours 21 minutes and 32 seconds UTC. All use subject to JSTOR terms and conditions. 14 TDSR 16.2. To end particto-eurism helping shape is these transformations, of the how Saja notions subsistence, dolorly hunting, past, RN and culture subverted condition the complicity by that off-state market transformed commodities and into era consumed to late capitalisms of theory value. According the traditions Asia often articulate loss of theory of than a discussions the past. More through nostalgic is return the past, to such nostalgia a suggestive projection of how people wish imagine past, to the ultimately miming about fantasy to paraphrase, or tausig, miming fantasy ecosomiones of within fantasy them. Point 24 Newly emerging nomic contexts, convincingly by embracing a genus, can their lever individuals communities bolster political or national international and populations hva vis regional, as infierno on enterprises. Oniungaja Manfrom in told Hoy involved ecotourismus in January 2003. Whatever neocolonial is works hegemony in place. As such, on hybridity also encompass can theories mimicry of and how fourth world use tradition to people's ideas about their urgent own need for stage political representation, land rights, access to resources, and without invalidating them. Whereas in theories can hybridity other post-colonial allow a critical for on or of perspective the mimesis nostalgia the past, can they simultaneously peoples recognize agency innocing these ideas as embedded within and global local relations. Power constructing value. We have characterized Aja villages post-essay as traditional a trend which exacerbated as eco-communities, through tourism its impulsion urbanization. Individuals and of first, are increasingly itis not fault I do not essay alienated from sense off place through their speakage. Itis thmy that us. Older to in nature, each other. Peoples because did teach I am they not changed relationships land. Fault now the off-culture they're writing in of ashamed I cannot saj because when that second, commodification speak the ask to some tradition creates contradictions anxieties new and with financieras funding agencies me say I to within language. Have to human regard people's relationship the past and with thing my nothing say. Others. Of essay last, through discourse nostalgia, many a loss how no search a link for between and narratives history place. Echoing reflect ideas off cultural are and we have also discussed such key how notions self of and purity authenticity both employed disemployed. One is the to or ritual nonetheless, paradox that desire reconstruct place, community, territory, relations, including gender the itself the of essentialize past manifests within context and language. Shapey undershaped the novel by ecological and it relations urbanization to role on that entails. Production the hybridity. A discussion identity is not questions and social that but within about original and shared connected and authenticity are provocative, rather off difference common, spaces, and ends and how these differences produced maintained, are a questioning how and why to hate of and political takes of essay relations is always that once positioning being aja is deployed. Hybridity place on a field power already how makes limitations binarisms and illustrates the of clear interconnected. Spatially if has been said that our mixture, example, corn for are what matters about most tradition ideas such as authenticity it in of identity is that is credible. Point 27 This article have briefly we modified the expression identities. Point 25 Indigenous highlight to ed how the environmental is resource in addition having service that. Political tie a powerful economy shapes credius repeatedly for of toward outside and while its sound internal audience performed and ability tradition significance, in it. Accessed outsiders hence, continual concurrently selectively by emergence rewriting, rediting reshaping toward inside. The former fulfilled the contexts. Its in is market more although discourses globalized through have the structurist of the on appearance changed, underlying ing. Latter through placed reconstructing values the have not. The same man pointed both choices the reasons revitalizing past and for the hierarchy's power of when said, as such, and in toward complexity such mirroring he next the our memory tradition bound together that the it in the way people organize past. Point 28 is precisely way he nothing. I ask me to me which nature based our industries established prince a father teach sa Jabut says upon like and asks summy and plus off modernity. Clothed the discourses pretexts yet if Simeon far away, a gringo, him from them of tradition mark then that Amazonian economies post is tradi sudden li father my thing, hesh house things. Sabational. The need for thee and me, speaks Aja. With heckin' bothered. Protecting cultural biological of rainforests there and remains diversity tropical peoples man's statements show but this of for expose compelling. Is precisely itis important all per we young and over and main theoretical concerns theme valence the to how economies examine participants environmental in places of like servation discourse inconvenience of politics hybridity of creates own object, at what its in cost. To where articulation a wish return of Amazonia. Peoples if their survival. 26 The past often express quest for political of con discussions hybridity sidestep aspects the political of cosness identity, end up in danger sanctifying of they. This content downloaded from 141.217.20.120 on Sun, December 13, 2015, 19 hours 21 minutes and 32 seconds UTC all use subject to JSTOR terms and conditions. Amazonia 15 Peluso and Alexiades, post-traditional. Notes and acknowledgement authors contributed Tothis have both equally indebted article. Are we profoundly touched for of Peru Bolivia Asia communities and their hospi friendship, thoughtfulness over last years. Would tality the 18 we the and like to particularly thank Bawaja or who either have directly Sonanakoanaji Tothis contributed article. Indirectly was fieldwork Peluso's doctoral, 1993 to 1996, Women from American by supported grants Science in Science, he, Social Fulbright and Wenner-Gren Research Council the research. For Foundation Anthropological Fieldwork Alexiades' doctoral, 1994 to 1996, the was supported Inter-American by Club America, the Garden of Foundation, the and Lawrence Conoco Fund. DuPont is funded the Alexiades' research current by and British Foundation the Nuffield Wish in addition, authors to both Academy of Support the acknowledge from University grant the Kent faculty and Tambo Patatuth we also reserve society. Are grateful Cirabo de Fenimad Peru, Madre Dios, and Lima Bolivia, Inrina and Beni, to thanks Puerto Maldonado, many Peru. Come for his Rubenstein insightful Steve for immense Todaniel Rodriguez's sub-tour contribution earlier stanchel use with and kindly discussions for providing notes to access his field the ecotourism, see while of process urbanization important, reviews, e.bu, DC, and potentials pitfalls does fall of urbanization not this, Washington, aspect, and e-wildlife 1990. Cater G World within scope this the of article. Fund. A Sustainable Ecotourism, E.Hobsbawm T. Ranger, The and Lohman, eds. Option 4 UK, Wiley Tradition Invention, Chichester, John and Sons, Cambridge, of an Ecotourism M Press, 1994, Honey, University 1983. Cambridge Who owns Sustainable Seed? Peluso, Conservation, Development, 5 DC? Washington, Island, Paradise, and Mimesis, 1999, Hemisphere, Indigenismo of Tourism, No. Anthropology Spring for V0I.52, Winter/1993, Exam A. Strinza, and for New of Conservation May a Nation How Forging Ground Ecotourism Agendas Annual Other for Discourse Native and Alternative Alternatives. Review of Provide and National and Subordinate Anthropology pages 261-83, T30, 2001, People Otherwise Nature Tourism, with them an ideal Wellen, for managing positions providing by DC, Environmentized of Indigenous Uponan, Washington, Island Past Image There Which Fashion Self. Representation. To Press, 1991. Between 12. Strategic the A6. A. Apadare, Past a Scarce Partnerships National International Capital, and 16, 1981, Man Resource, NS, Govern Private pages 201-19. Environmental and Inment NGOs, Agencies, History Making 7. E. Housechild, in Have Critical Donor Southern Inc. Hastrup, Other ed. Organizations Bin Italy. In Tropical Ventures Ecotourism Histories Promoting Routledge, 1992, London, A Round of Forests, particularly Units Conserve. 29-44. The Vashon. 4 in the Matadai holds for true 8. The same C, example, International the Ecotourism, ties, components also of SA Soninija. All these society groups ecotourism pages 33-62. Into me, a different retreated, ND, successful rejoin of points rainforest NE. For other tributaries. A more compare 13. Nikander K. Holly, ing see account Saja history, of Hensive tourism, combining expeditions, in an essay law in Alexiades Peluso, Societe. Education, Research Southeastern, and Miller E. Amazonian in J.A. Peru, Ija. Ecotourism. The H. Malekzadeh, eds, Equation, of Tribe 9. M. Fried, Notionth CN, The Publishers, Measuring Impacts Haven, Park, New, Menlo C. A. Cummings and of Forestry Yale University School 1975, Studies Woman's Environmental Bulletin Essay Series, 10.d.m. Peluso, Ija Epona, and in Power Multiple Hybrid N. Myers, CG Social IR. Mitermier, and pages 169-81. 1996, Volume 99, PhD Columbia Worlds, Dis, Partnership Ecosystem Mitermier, Earth's University, 14. C. Critical Hotspots, Biologically Forestville Kabambaumbura Fund, Richest Most and Threatened 2003. E. Corjuns Andes of the RDMA for DC, Ecosystem Tropical City Washington, ChemX, IL. C. Example, Groom, Mexico and Turismo as El and Madre and Mun, Hotspot and Biodiversity Peru Bolivia, Podolsky, CA1:999, Court Emad, DDS, down December 2000, Final of A Case Use Wildlife, Study Peru, Sustained of Version, Peru Desconocido Maldonado, 14, Puerto from Southeastern NJ.G loadable www.cepef.net/xp/cepef/static de Madre Dios, de Diedzarolo Peru, Departamental Corporación and Robinson K.H. Redford, Madre Dios, de EDS, pdfs/final.tropicalans.vilcabamba 1986. 2 for Historical of Sayasia Neotropical Use Conservation Ombura.ep.pdf. Wildlife and Profilet of Chicago Law Mitermier, and MN Alexiades D.M. Peluso, Press, Myers, Mitermier, 15. University, Chicago, and SA Sociedade Una Hotspots. pp 393-412 A. Strunza, I991, Approximation It Because I SARS, Inc., Historica Origins, a SUSHTTP://www. Distribution, community-based 16. Green Tracks website, .htm.com in the INA. A Sentimento Amazon, /Tambopata_programs Green Tracks y Subsistencia, Garcia, Ecotourism Peruvian Accessed of Florida, de PhD de Madre Dios, Los Dis, February 2005. 14, ed., Pueblos University Indigenas and KHK 2000. A View, Gainesville, for Contrasting 17. Brandon, Redford, SC Historia, Sweden, Y Coimbra, Ethnographia Politics in N. Anderson, Parks Peril, Ecotourism and Seep.West.G.Carrier, eds, Peru, People, Igia, Fenomad, 2003. DC, Areas Protected, Washington, and an Institutional Getting from Processes Authenticity, Away et al., Political 3. The An Island Has Press, in Set Place Indigenous JG 1998, Robinson ELN 0.4 Volume 45, 2004, Anthropology, by Organizations Current, The, Unintentionally and More Other General eds, Bennett, Hunting Sustainability Facilitated also for pages 483-98.4. This content downloaded from 141.217.20.120 on Sun, December 13, 2015, 19 hours 21 minutes and 32 seconds UTC. All use subject to JSTOR terms and conditions. 16 TDSR 16.2 in Ecuador 25. Seer. De Grandes Z. Bernd, The History, Huaorani Amazonian of Cultural Americas, York, Columbia Press, University Unforeseeable Questioning, New in the Sea Models, E-Hybridity Americas, Amsterdam, Predation 2002. For Endixis Vivaeros Castro, de BV, Signs Rhodope 2000, H. Bava, Cosmological of Taken Wonders, for Amerindian and Questions Perspectivism, of Journal Under an Ambivalence Authority a Tree 4, Royal Anthropology, 1998, NS, 12 Critical Death The. Delhi, 1817, Inquiry May J. pages 469-88, Overing, and Loss Outside of Predation The of Civilized, 1985, pages 144-65. Among PRO notes the on post-colonial, 26.E. Shobut, The Orinoco Home, Basin, Volume 33 on Text, 1992, and pages 99-113. No 2-4, 1993, pages 191-211, B. Conklin, Social 31 seconds taken for C. Baba, Cannibalism Ambivalence, Signs Consuming Compassionate Grief, to Theory, The Amazonian, Austin, University Wonders, Commitment Society and New Texas of Formations, 1988, Press, pages 5-23, V0I.5 2001. The Location Culture at 22. Strinza, Bikayu Cesars, Routledge, of, London, p.142 of Commodification Set That Not Identity, 23. We're implying Strinza out 1994, onth the Tounder Mine Seam. F. Or Strategically Brown, Facing State, Consciously Native and the World, Amazonia's Leaders Essay Parof Essay Javius Harpy Eagles, Ija, Vol. New of in the Politics Identity, to those exposed modern home, particularly more and do not conservationist discourses, Custom R33 No.2-4, 1993, pages 307-26, Paluzzo, and to discuss issues and conservation, indigenismo mimesis relating ili openly smallest the of and their traditions beliefs oral 27. Sieg. Mori, Worlds and Folk Delos Ancestors Village, Culture Tourism Antiguos, with, Creenciasin into context, outsiders, that have development alpine given these tended be and consultants. Traditional and past. Strinzas scorned the review, dwelling settlements in these no I thus are likely particular Volume 13, 2001. Accomplices in 28.A. Giddens, of past. Of masking instanceth living ga post-traditional AINU. And in Society, Beck, Giddens, S.M. Tausig, Colonialism Shamanism, 24. Politics Modernization, in the Man, Study Terror Healing Lash, Reflexive Wild AIDS, in the Social Tradition Aesthetics Modern and of Chicago Press, University, Chicago, Order Blackwell, pages 57-109 1994, Oxford, 1987. D.C., Forests Tropical, Washington Island and Terburg, for Requiem Nature Press, JDC, Press, 1999. Washington, Island Noble the 18.K.H. Redford, Ecologically Cultural Survival Volume 15 Quarterly, Savage, No. 1991, I pages 46-48. 19. Ibid are mere 20. Harpy animals, eagles not from rather Arizija, people, Yawajo they had nay, a long ago, nay time when beings between the two ability transform forms. Harpy were sons significantly eagles the of forest Adasakiana. The most powerful being, uses that Saja explain Adasakiana the sea to humans, G harpy talons kill eagles voice Ishawa. Vision, and Mythic Burr, Ph.D. Oxford Narrative, Dis, University, S.A. and Paluzzo, Ija Epona. 1997, the of 21. Seam. Alexiades, Ethnobotany in Anhealth and Ija Plants, Change Ph.D. Amazonian City Society, Dis, of New York, and L University 1999, Las Yelayahuasquero, Iamicaque del Dinámicas Socio-Ecológicas Amazonia S.A. Camanismo Ija, Peruana, Volume 14 and 0.27, 2000, pages 193-212, Grateful Rock Human Brightman, Pray-Cree of Animal University Relationships, Berkeley, S.A. California 1993, Press, Paluzzo, Ija, and through Epona, L. Rival, Trekking. This content downloaded from 141.217.20.120 on Sun, December 13, 2015, 19 hours 21 minutes and 32 seconds UTC. All use subject to JSTOR terms and conditions.